And
I was getting into it. Damn.
Yeah. And I'm gonna put the actual intro.
You should leave what you should start the actual YouTube video with like, are we gonna do the intro? First I'm gonna do this.
Wakey, wakey, smell those eggs and bakey. It's time for Breakfast Talk, a podcast discussing current, independent, and mainstream entertainment topics from gaming and movies to comics. Start your week off right with the Breakfast Boys. As always, if you can smell what we're cooking, click that like button, and if your tummies are rumbling for more, click subscribe and ring that brekkie bell to turn on all notifications. All right, let's talk.
So, yeah.
Blood, gore, people die. He betrayed them. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's about to get real spoilery up in this mode.
All right. Real quick. The first thing I want to say is some of my favorite characters are the clone twins. I don't remember if they have names or not. I don't know if they ever anything. They just call themselves brother. But I think they said it like in the first episode. But like they're like that little game there was awesome. And like when it later is applied to the robot dude, like that was such a cool way to like they felt like they were like they know what this is like. They could like that. I love when they make villains sympathetic to other people. Like they can see like, wow, like I know what this is like too. Even though like that was the guy trying to put him away, right? Yeah. So like I very much love that stuff. Like the sympathetic villain is because like it's been like. The old comics, it was easy. Like, oh, that guy's a bad guy. Okay, I know who's the good guy. But that was before, like, we understood, like, even the concept of superheroes in this type of realm of storytelling, at least. Because, like, obviously we've had, like, gods and stuff like that for mythology. But when you get actually, maybe that's why I enjoy it so much. Because if you look at, like, the old Greek mythology, they do have a lot of random sympathetic things, even if they're the bad guy. Like, Prometheus bringing fire, he's the good guy, but like how you bond with them over things like this. They're going against the gods. Like, are they the good guy, the bad guy? I love that type of stuff. But yeah, the clone brothers are definitely some of my favorite characters. Who are your favorite characters?
Go ahead, Greg.
Well, Mark, but we're using our made up names. Invincible. So he's cool, obviously. Omni-Man is cool, but he's a dick. And I guess his pet, his wife, she's cool.
Oh yeah, Jesus, yeah. Spoil. Oh god. Thank God we put that siren on.
I just really like the subway scene, so because it's just so fun.
Oh my god, yeah, that was so. Okay, before you get into scenes, because that would definitely be tough. Yeah. I'm saying, what's your favorite character that's not like the main character? That's a cop out.
I forgot what that guy's name is.
Describe him.
He turns like all rock.
Oh, the guy who becomes Kingpin at the end, like yeah. I don't know if
I think his name's Concrete or something like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Maybe because I'm kind of like, oh, well, one of my main characters is kind of like that, except it's like reverse in my comic.
Well, it's cool. Yeah, it's cool because he forms it around his skin. Yeah, it's like the opposite.
Yeah.
But now he's definitely, that was such a cool story because I did not see that one coming. That was one of the because like you said earlier, like you can kind of see it coming. I think that superhero movies or shows, doesn't matter, you kind of want to see it coming. But I love when you don't see the other stuff coming. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to know, like you want the good guy to win. Like, if they don't and it's the end of the season, it's like, it would feel weird, right? Like, if you killed Invincible at the end, it's like, what? Like, doesn't make any sense. But, like, I get the Game of Thrones style of, like, offing people. But, yeah, I would definitely say that, yeah, that little plot line was so small, and I bet it's going to be so big later, and I love it. And it's like, it was such a cool concept. What about Hector? What's your favorite character?
That's tough because you know what? I feel like, so Adam Eve was like badass. Like, I thought she was like, it's crazy how
Starfire meets that. What the hell is it?
She's like a Green Lantern, essentially. She's
but it's real though. It's different. She's like, you remember Starfire?
Yeah.
Yeah, she has that type of like blast energy thing, all like that. But then she can reshape reality, like because the Green Lantern, they're constructs.
Right.
She can do that and then literally manipulate molecules to be like a
Atoms,
different form of themselves.
Yeah,
like, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like and what's funny is I thought it's really interesting because in the show they very much downplay her. Like
I
she's
just realized it's Atom Eve.
Yeah, Atom Eve.
I'm very dumb.
Yeah.
I'm just now registering that because she has the logo with like the things going around. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. You better not leave that door there.
There's still a back door. He still has a back door, and then you see the dad come around and everything. You hear the door slam and everything. No, yeah. So I think she's a great character, and like again, underdeveloped. I think in season 1 in terms of like how people see her inside the world. Like she's very much still like a down home type of character, even though she has a really ridiculous power set, and she probably has the purest intentions of anybody in the show. Like she's very much she's the archetypal character. If you really, really think about it, she has conflicts within herself in terms of like her family and like being part of a team. But in terms of her intentions for the world, she's definitely that archetypal Superman. Like she just wants to do good. She just wants to help people. She wants to use her powers to the maximum, and she's going to figure out any way to do so. So you don't have this like really huge conflict between good and evil. She's definitely very much like on the good side. And I really like that about her. She's the wholesome type.
Well, I think that also helps you. So when you see someone like Omni-Man, like even before the end of the first episode, by having that purity of other characters later, like when you reflect back on that, you're like, yeah, like is really good, and I can see that he is like weird because like I know. So like I guess like the big spoiler right at the end of the first episode, Omni-Man, who is the equivalent of Superman, kills the entire Justice League.
Yes,
all of them, and it looks brutal. Like it's like the very first thing, like you're just like, what's going on? At first I was like, oh, is it a simulation? Is it was it a test? Like at first when he first starts fighting them, I actually thought he brought them there to test them to make sure they were strong enough. Because I didn't realize how long I was into the episode. I wasn't registering this at the end of the episode. And then even after all that, when he passed out, I'm thinking like, oh, maybe he was mind controlled. Like the whole thing. And like they were good at it. Like I figured out, I actually originally thought that what might have been happening was, you'll notice that in the first episode, right after Mark gets his powers, he starts getting agitated. And I think I just misremember him talking about his planet, because later he's like, oh, like they send us out to different planets. And I was thinking they sent everybody out. And so I'm like, oh, I wonder if it's because like if like two of them are in a room together, they get really angry and something happens.
Like alpha male
like
stuff.
Something, and so because of that, he went and killed like the strongest people around, and obviously his son's not at that level yet. And so it was just like, I was thinking maybe that was it. And so like it wasn't enough to make me think otherwise. My brother kind of got the guess right off the bat. But that's why I was saying, like, I like that you can guess it pretty quickly what's going on, but it's just enough where you're like, oh, is it? I guess that it is.
Yeah, you can't exactly know where the story's going. But I think, if it would have been this whole like mind control, that kind of stuff, like that actually would have been too obvious. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff, even in the show, they talk about it. So it's like, it's obvious to the characters inside the show. So it would have been much more obvious to us as a viewer outside the show, getting information that they don't have, which
I also like that they didn't, because if they had done that, they're like, oh, it's so obvious it could have been that, so it probably isn't. And then it would have been like that. That's like that cheesy thing they do in B movies. Like,
exactly.
Where it's like, there's no way that, oh no, it was exactly that. Yeah.
No, I think it's actually like Omni-Man specifically. So like, so Adam Eve was definitely one of my favorite characters, but also Rexplode was actually one of my favorite characters too, for the whole, it's like the whole Kano factor, right? Like he's such an asshole that he's like somewhat likable, and it's like, you know, that there's a deeper story behind why he's such an asshole, you know, and he kind of alludes to it. He's like, you're reminding him, like, you look like me as a kid, which is fucked up because like my childhood sucked. You're just like reminding me of my crappy childhood. So it's like, I get it, you know, and so I want to kind of like see where he goes. And I think actually, so this is my prediction, Rexplode is going to have some relationship with Invincible, that like you get to see why Rexplode is the way he is, and then I think Rexplode is going to be fodder for an emotional development moment in like Invincible's character development.
Meaning you think he might get KO'd and Invincible's going to grow because of it?
Yeah, like they're going to become friends in some way, and it's going to kind of change Invincible a little bit when he does eventually like end up dead. You know what I mean? He's going to explain to him, man, this is my past, this is why I am who I am. Invincible's going to be like, oh shit, that makes sense. And then Rex Float is dead, and then Invincible's like, what the hell? He was just getting a character redemption arc, and you killed him.
Speaking of like foreshadowing into the future too, I think that the way they ended the last episode was the coolest type of ending, where it's like, because like one of the things I loved about the show that makes it cheesy was the cheesiness of it. Like when they were like, oh no, he's boom, invincible. Like that was, I was expecting it every episode, and it still caught me off guard, and I loved it every time. Like, yeah, there it is, he did it.
Because it wasn't always in like the first 5 minutes. It was like sometimes it was like a minute in, sometimes it was like 6 minutes in. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And so like there was that, and then the very last segment of the, I don't remember if it was the very last scene or not. I think it was, but basically he's on the moon talking to Seth Rogen, and
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
It's so funny. Yeah, it's just like, so he's on the moon talking to the Cyclops, and basically he's like, so what are your plans for the future, after just describing the fact that Viltrumites are going to come and just destroy the Earth. And it shows all these things that were happening and how they're now playing out, like
yes.
the Kingpin's taking over. What was it? The robots, they built a bunch more of them, and like all this other stuff. And I was thinking about the fact that I'm like, damn, that's such a cool thing. It's like quick little flashes of each of them. And it's like, yeah, I want to graduate high school. And it's like, oh, cool.
Yeah, right? Fair enough. Makes sense.
He's still just a kid, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And speaking of the robots, like that was like very, I love when they take things that are like history. Like that was very much like finding a Nazi scientist and then pulling them over to use their talent for good. That was such a cool thing. Like how, like, because even like, what's his name? What's Nick Fury's name?
Silas.
Silas, yeah. So like, like Nick Fury. I think Silas is an awesome name too. Like for that, like
he's a great character too. Honestly, yeah. That there you go. That's another great character too.
Other than the twins, he's like that's my next favorite one. He's awesome. I love that character because he's that like Rick from Rick and Morty, where he's extremely smart. He's playing 18 steps ahead, even when he knows he can't win. Like I love that scene where he's like, what do you think you're gonna do? It's like the same thing I've been doing since I knew you were evil.
Hey.
Buy more time. Like
exactly.
I love that. And then I love like when like fucking Omni-Man's flying and it's like, you wouldn't dare. And then the Hammer of Dawn comes down and just pummels him into the earth. But tangent. I was saying the robots, that thing. The cool thing I liked about that, I was thinking about the fact that when he was at the university and he was rebuilding living people, right? I don't think he had the technology to bring people back. But because he was at the headquarters and they've almost brought people back from the dead, and apparently in the past at least they've been able to revive.
They alluded to it, yeah.
Yeah, seemingly dead. Yeah, like the fact that they had access to that, they could then repurpose dead soldiers. Like that was a really unique way, because I love that line. It's like, what the hell are those? And it's like, those are soldiers serving their country one last time. I was getting chills that whole last battle, and then it's like, call out the Hail Mary, and I was like, oh, I knew exactly what they were talking about when they said it, and then it's like, oh, it's like I've already beaten this. You're just wasting time. And it's like, yeah, except we removed its nerve centers, pumped it full of every chemical and enhancer that we could think of, and honestly, it didn't like that, and it blames you.
Yeah,
it's like it's pissed it off, and it blames you, and then the thing's just like, rah.
Yeah. By the way, that was an awesome kaiju design as well. It was like Cthulhu-ish, and it's like, it worked.
Cthulhu meets what the hell's that? Oh damn, what the hell is that from? It looks like a dinosaur though. That's what it was. It looked kind of like a Godzilla kaiju, mixed with Cthulhu.
I like that tiger lion guy.
Oh yes, he looks like a god or something.
He owned like Invincible, and I was like, I kind of want him to come back like next season or something.
Because they show him. Yeah, they show him.
Yeah, he needs to like. I want him to get like pwned now.
I don't want him to get pwned. I want him and Invincible to be like nearly like. Did you ever watch One Piece?
Yeah.
Remember?
I didn't see the entire thing, but
Crocodile. Or
No, you know the what the hell is the character? The Mochi, the guy who can like they think that that bullets penetrate him, but what he's doing is like turning himself into that right like the Mochi stuff real quick. You know what I'm talking about? How many what episode you get to? Because I know there's like 800.
No, yeah, like first season for me. Like I didn't get
Jesus.
past
like
first season.
There's a
like
character in there.
400 something.
There's a character in there who is like one of these top tier admirals or whatever, and basically he has two abilities. One of them is that he has like foresight, so he can see slightly into the future, and he also has this ability to like turn himself into like sticky rice mochi stuff and like send it out and wrap it up and expand and control stuff. Like so, basically, there's this guy, and for the longest time, people thought that like he was indestructible because every time like a bullet or something would go through him, it would just go through him. But what was happening is he was utilizing the foresight to basically move his body out of the way as if it penetrated him. So people thought he was invincible. And then the second the main character like finds that out, like he starts fighting them back, and it's like super intense. But they basically are almost both dead. And then the guy mutually was like, you know what, I respect you, and like they just like that's how it ends. Like it's like I would love if that lion god like they basically beat each other up. They're on the ground, both like almost dead, and like something cool happens because of that. Like
He seems like
I'm a good guy.
I mean, yeah, I don't know, like he seems like kind of like a
Thanos.
the Battle World dude from DC, where he just comes through and he's just looking for competition. You know what I mean? Like he just wants to fight the strongest things and
that's what I mean.
like own them. Yeah,
like if he could get he could get Vegeta, right? Where like he's the bad guy, he gets beaten up by someone who he thought inferior, gains respect, and even if he is secretly trying to just get stronger than him the whole time, they're almost friends, if not actually friends. Like, I would love to see that because
I think there's going to be a lot of turns. There's going to be like I actually think that the whole Kingpin character, Concrete, I actually think he's going to be a good guy. Like it's right now he definitely kind of played Invincible a little bit, and he like stepped up to be this.
I still don't know if that was the final intent or the decision he made after he like got Invincible on board.
I think that it was just in the moment. Yeah, it was just in the moment. He was like, you know what? Like I can't like thank you for what you're doing, but
so it wasn't in the moment because it turns out he had paid off. Who's the teleporter? What's his name?
Isotope.
Isotope, yeah. When he walked in, he immediately said, "Boss, it worked out great."
Yeah.
When he said he was paying the girl to get him out of there, he kind of wasn't, right? Like that's the thing is like I think that the second he got Invincible on board, he came up with a new plan, and then he talked with Isotope about it.
Yeah. No, what I'm saying is he planned that whole thing. I'm just saying I don't think he planned for Invincible to get like legit almost killed, and he was just like, you know what? Sorry, kid. Like I'm walking away. Like this, you dying or me being concerned about you isn't part of the plan. So I'm not going to defer myself, and I'm not going to change that plan. So like he's very much like single-minded, right? But I don't think he's like ill-intentioned. I think he actually does have like good intentions.
Well, he's like that guy that's like Sandman. That's Sandman, where he's like, I'll do anything for my daughter, even if it's kill other people. Like
exactly.
Yeah. So like that's the not so much that it's ill intent on purpose. It's ill intent that's misguided. Like he's like,
it's just single-mindedness. I'm only concerned about this, and everything else can go to hell. Like I don't give a shit. I'm just focused on this, and that's focusing on my daughter, making sure that we have everything that we should have, and all that kind of stuff. And I think he's going to be a really profound character because I think he's going to position himself in the same way like Kingpin is, where like he becomes like the savior of Harlem kind of thing, right? So like you can't just take that guy down, because if you take that guy down, all these people are going to be like, Invincible is the bad guy now, right?
It would be interesting if he starts off benevolent, gets the power rush, then becomes like Kingpin, because that is what like the Kingpin from Daredevil, like he started off like beating up people that were destroying his area. And then I think that's like it just went down that route of like, ooh, this feels good. You know what? I'm gonna like, you know what? You be scared of me. Everyone be scared of me. I want everyone to be scared of me. And now I'm gonna own this city, right? Like that's kind of like that route. Like that's what I think would happen. That would be a cool arc to me, at least, to like see him start off immediately, like start cleaning up the area. Bad guys come in, he starts beating them up, and he starts getting like used to it. Kind of like how when he breaks the table, because Machine Head's like, you're just good at breaking things, and then he does it, right? He fell for it. I think that's what will happen. Is like he'll be breaking things for a just reason, and then eventually it's like that's not like this guy's like look at him, like this isn't just anymore. Like when Invincible broke the dude's jaw, and he's like, I didn't know what happened. It's like I would have done the same thing, right? Like
Yeah.
I love that.
Well,
Do each of you have like a favorite scene or episode?
I think we can all agree on one scene specifically that we probably all thought was just ridiculous.
Quick little subway ride.
Yeah, the subway, but like everything in that
Subway,
too.
eat fresh.
Everything in that too. So when he was before that, when he was trying to hold up the building and then fucking collapses and then he's just holding the arm, like that shit was fucking crazy. Like
Dude, that's what I meant when I was describing the art earlier, the non-spoiler one, like the fact that they showed like muscle and bone hanging out, like they wouldn't do that in any old cartoon, even if there was blood. Like that's what I mean by like the details. Yeah. Although they had Justice League like shadowing, like it was, or shading. I mean, it was very much like detailed for stuff like that. And like I still love the fact that even after like he beats up his son, like the looking at his face with the broken teeth reminded him of a singular moment when he was missing teeth as a kid. Like that was such a cool thing. And his face is all swollen, so it looks childish. Like it was, oh man, that was such like, that's what I mean by like the emotions. Like when he was like infuriated, pummeling his own son to death, and he sees the teeth and has this flashback of this one time where like you can see it in the flashback where he's still he's still thinking the way that he should be thinking, being kind, but he's like, yeah, this is dumb, wasting my time. And then he has this one moment where he feels human.
Right.
And I love that because it's like, that's like the Goku like landing on Earth and like he's supposed to take it over, but hits his head. Like the idea that humans, like the power that humans have is that we can change anyone. Like that happens in a lot of other movie shows, like where an alien comes here and like they learn from us, even though they're way stronger than us, that we have something more to offer. And that scene was so awesome. And like the fact that like the last thing he's like, what are you gonna have in 500 years? He's like, I'd still have you. Like that. Oh
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, and it's I think it's great because like you have this clear division, like this separation, this like cognitive dissonance inside of Omni-Man, where he's been conditioned his entire life, power, conquer, things like that.
He's so like a purebred. Like that's it's like he's supposed to be unmovable.
And he's like a Goku if Goku would have like stayed on Vegeta and then they would have sent him out as an adult. Like he's that person, right? So like he's already so built up in his mind that it's hard to change. But you see that like there's these cracks in that surface. And all right, so this is actually like a comic book spoiler for Invincible. He's not done creating progeny.
What?
Invincible. I'm sorry, not Invincible. Omni-Man. He's not done with his kids. Let's just put it that way. In the comic books. So we might see another Viltrumite, half whatever planet he's on, in the future. So
not on Earth, you mean?
Not on Earth. He's not on Earth. No.
I kind of assumed that. He said he's been like he's thousands of years old, and then he's like, in the scheme of things, his wife's a pet, and he also knew that his the half-breed son would still end up would have the same power, and he's like, it happens when you turn 18. Like, I bet he knows that for a reason. I kind of assumed that after we find out, like, because when they show him leaving his planet and he looks as old as he does now, right? And like that's kind of like, oh, I get it. And then when he went to the that universe where time moves faster, remember? Mm-hmm. And like he comes back and all he has is a beard, but he's still like the same age. And even the wife wasn't worried about it, right? Like Deborah's just like whatever. Like so it's super huh? It's definitely super intriguing to think about like what he's been doing for thousands of years, that Earth broke him, and what a son on another planet or daughter on another planet would look like. So
not
having Earth.
But yeah, anyway, so what my point was that like I think that moment of having like so that he is his first son. Invincible is his first son. So I think that moment kind of breaks him and like starts changing him. When he leaves the planet, he is now much different, even though it's like in the context, he's not that much different. Like he still does have that like loyalty battle. Like I'm still Viltrumite. I still have to like prepare the earth and all. So he still has that battle going on, but I think he's going to be much different the next time we see him. And then secondly, what was really impactful watching it again was that he was hoping, even though he knew, Mark's probably gonna have his powers. He actually told Deborah and he voiced it like, I wish he kind of didn't have powers. And the reason why is because he knew that now he's gonna have to enact this plan. Because he wasn't even supposed to like have a kid in the first place. Like he wasn't even supposed to like blend in that much where he had a kid. He was supposed to be like this person who prepares the earth and like that's it, right? So he has the kid and now he knows now that he has powers, I have to tell him what's up and I have to like start preparing the earth. Like him and I have to start making this right, because when the Viltrumites come, if he's not who he needs to be, like they're gonna kill him
too.
Yeah, they're gonna kill him. He's a human in their eyes.
That was also a really interesting concept, how like the Viltrumites are so pure that even though he would be half human, it doesn't matter. The Viltrumite blood overrides that blood so much. He's like, you're basically pure Viltrumite.
Right.
Like that was super interesting to like think about, because like that's like the Saiyan, like the same thing with like Goku and then Gohan and then Pan, like what happens as it goes away. But in this case, the thing that made them so powerful was how purebred they were, and how like they remember genetics, lasers at the blood, and like the blood just won't die.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. So yeah, I think it's man, there's a lot of like cool, interesting stuff. And story wise, it was such a strong story. And again, I think this reaches back. We've talked about this like before. When you base like a new iteration of something, so like an animation, a movie, off something else that's already built. So now you have all of the structure that's been built prior, the story of the interesting directions maybe they've taken in the comic books, the history inside the comic books that this person that was world building did, and then all you have to do is just like kind of represent some of that inside this like now one space that's different, like a movie or a TV show or something like that. It turns out so much better because you have all these avenues and built up things that you don't have to like play with yourself. And I think again, that's like the whole Game of Thrones thing. That's where they lost everyone when the books, like the show stopped coinciding with what the books were. That's when it became like chaos, and it became like not as enjoyable to watch, not as full, not as rich. It became more kind of like just one and done storylines. The arc wasn't as strong, things like that. So it's the same way here, and I feel like we have a lot to work with Invincible moving forward. The comics again are very popular. They were one of those comic books that kind of like held up against other comic books in the industry, that got a lot of fanfare and still was like, again, like a parody of the archetypes and stuff like that, but attracted enough people based on the storyline. So it's only going to get better from here. I think the animation actually will get better too, because they're probably going to invest more money into it.
Am I the only one that the second they saw Batman and heard Darkwing thought of Darkwing Duck?
Darkwing Duck, yeah. Immediately.
Yeah. No, their names were all like clever too, because like, what was it, Red Rush? I think that was actually a nickname of the Flash at one point, the Red Rush. So like
the Aquaman character's a fish.
I do. That's exactly what I said. I'm like, I love how they made him actually a fish.
Yeah.
And he died brutally. Like, oh my god.
He's just sushi.
Yeah, I was gonna say the other. Yeah, that's pretty funny. The immortal character. First off, I'm very intrigued because, like, obviously his name's Immortal, so he's lived forever, and you see that when he's brought back to life by the twins or the clones. Like that guy was. I was. That was the scene I was talking about when I was saying I was like hyped up out of my chair. He's like, "Yo, man, it's like he's like coming in so hard.
Yeah.
He's like, he does not care. And I love how he was trying to blind him. He's like, you can rip my spine in half. I am going to like damage you. Like I'm going to do something.
Gonna leave a mark here. Yeah.
Oh,
and it's cool because he's like Vandal Savage, right? But he's like part of the Justice League. So he's like the good guy Vandal Savage. Like he was literally a caveman. He got empowered somehow, and Vandal Savage case is like a meteor. And this one, it seems like it's like an alien race that like empowered him with like immortal life.
Like a portal or something.
Yeah,
back when he was like a caveman or something. I love how it showed like those flashbacks of his whole life.
It was really cool. Yeah, it was really cool. And yeah, like the fact that he's still going to be around too, like in those final scenes, you see them putting him back together again. So
that the fact, like, because the reason why they couldn't revive him the first time was they got to him too late, they said. But
and his head was removed from his body.
Well, no, but I'm saying, but it was because they said that if we get it on him quick enough, that it'd be fine. But they said it was too late. That's why when the twins the clones, I keep calling them twins, the clones got him, right? They were able to revive him because they had a little more experience with like
knowledge. Yeah.
And so I'm saying that like they could have, even with his head removed, remember they said they were going to try to put it back together. It was just that because it was so long that they were sitting there dead.
I think it was just because like they didn't have the correct knowledge, because again, time wasn't a factor when it came to the twins, right? Like, so he had already been dead for quite a while.
No, I'm not saying anyone. I'm saying the twins were able to do it because time wasn't important to them. They could bring this guy back. I'm saying that Cecil and them, the technology they had,
exactly. That's what I mean too.
Back together quick enough. But if they had got him like right when it came off, I bet they could have brought him back.
Probably, yeah.
And it was just the fact that because he was dead, and then they find them all dead, and they're like, oh my god, like, you know, it's been too long. Brain deprived.
Yeah, it was definitely that first initial scene, that crazy kill the Justice League scene was fucking amazing.
Dude, I love flashback with the head coming off, like where he sees like
dude, I love so he sticks his hand through the tangible girl, like basically Shadow Cat or whatever. Like he kills her and then he uses her as a shield to like block like water.
Through her face, because that's what the
yeah.
He punched through her face and then was using her as a shield. I was like, oh,
just like, and their power, like combining their powers to try to beat the hell out of him, and he's still like, and he just like snaps old girl's like Battle Girl's neck or Battle Woman's neck, and it's just like War Woman, that's her name. I'm sorry,
War Woman.
And then she just like falls to her knees, and it's just like and just dies. Yeah, that was fucking amazing.
I don't have a character in my comics that is anything like Omni-Man because I have no like OP character. Like I'm against Superman, so like I wouldn't ever have a character like that. So like I would love to use scenes like that, but like I can't because I don't have anyone that's like that.
The other one too, the Red Rush when he's punching him.
His like wrist. Yeah.
But like I love how at first like it's not like he couldn't hurt him. Like he was literally punching him to the point where his chest is becoming bruised and it's spreading, and he's still going. But like the harder he has to punch harder and harder because he's about to die.
Right.
Isn't he the first one? This is the first one, right?
Yeah.
And so you just see his like wrist breaking, his arms are breaking. He's giving it all that he can because he knows if he doesn't stop him,
you're dead. I'm dead already. And, like I'm just gonna make
that was like so gnarly.
I don't think he would have killed them like as easy if like he was alive, because like he was struggling for like a second when like Red
he
Rock
kept
was, like,
moving
trying to save people. He kept like pushing people out of the way, and like he pushed I forgot who he pushed out of the way, and then like he was attacked. So
that's why it was cool. Like that's if you notice how he literally goes through and kills them all. He killed them in an order of importance. After he got wrapped up by the Martian guy, that was the next thing he had to do. He's killed him, right? Which was also gnarly. Like he found the little heart or whatever, and just ripped it open. Oh god, poor Martian.
Yeah. So watch the series because it's obviously really, really good. There's parts that. I'm sorry. Go ahead. There's smaller things, there's smaller details, storylines, and things like that we're not talking about here. The twins being one of them, or the clones and the robot, like that whole the team becoming the new global force or whatever. Like that whole storyline is really good.
I kept thinking they were saying team, and I'm like, is the weirdest because it's such a tongue
team.
Yeah, team.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good stuff that we still haven't spoiled for you, so you can definitely still watch it. Really, really good series though. I would say it's probably one of the best animation series like having to do with superheroes I've seen in a long time. It definitely shakes up the traditional paradigm of like animated movies from DC Marvel
in
stuff.
general. Like other than like Rick and Morty, I don't think I've ever seen this much blood in a cartoon.
Well, anime does a pretty good job of not
Yeah.
censoring as much. Like Dead Space was actually pretty cool too.
I'm talking about,
for that.
the quantity of brutality.
No, yeah.
The last, like we were talking about before, I know we kind of tangented off of it. The subway scene, like where Omni-Man is trying to prove a point and explain that humans are like
meaningless.
They're just meat bags. They're nothing, right? They're nothing without Viltrumite coming to take over the planet. And he holds his son through an entire subway train of people. And he sees the first guy fling out the window, and then the rest of them, he's like, "No, stop!"
They're just blowing up,
splattering against his hands, and they're just like, and he's like, "Look this is you fighting me. You're causing this." Like that was the darkest scene. Like that was ridiculous.
Yeah, that shit was
intense. Like, and like when like you were saying the arm, right? Like when he's trying to save that one person in the building, like he just tried, or the pilot. Oh my God, I forgot about the pilot. Where he's like, "Oh man, you almost killed him. What were you thinking?" It's like, "What? This?"
Exactly.
Look
at all that work. Look at all that work you did for nothing.
yeah. He's just like, look at all that. Look at all that wasted energy.
You gotta think, Mark. You gotta think. Think.
Yeah.
Think, Mark.
I'm hoping if I tell Connor to make that a thumbnail, he'll do that.
The think, Mark.
Yeah, something like that.
It's full of spoilers. Think.
Yeah, we're definitely using that meme, by the way.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, like we got to use that. You got to use that for like the Kickstarter, where they're like, "Listen, if you don't back about it, what happens if you don't back this? Think."
That's the plan. That's the plan.
That's the plan. Yeah. So there's going to be 3 seasons of that show at least. It's signed for 2 more seasons. So their budgets are probably going to be like way higher.
I can picture that being like an 8-season thing and ending it. Like if they wanted to, I know they could go forever, but I feel like
if it was HBO, they would probably try milking it. Yeah,
I know they will. But like I think based on the trajectory and speed at which the story was told, I'd be willing to bet. Technically, you could probably do it in 5, but you could get a very, very like heartfelt, like like Cowboy Bebop's 1 season and it's complete, right? Sometimes it is okay for a show to end and it makes it better because of it. And because of streaming, you can go back and watch it whenever, like The Office, right? Like you're sad it's over, but people watch the whole freaking thing, right? You know what I mean? So it's definitely, or even Futurama, right? Like its last episode, like it's great. Like
it was a great last episode for Futurama.
Yeah, I feel complete with this episode. Now I can start over. Huh?
Better than King of the Hill. That ending was trash.
I've never seen the end of King of the Hill.
It's so stupid. I'll tell you what it is.
Bobby kills everyone.
Yeah, right. Oh my God,
Bobby.
Speaking of Bobby.
Oh yeah, that one guy looks just like Bobby.
Ronan? Was that his name? The guy that looked just like Bobby.
Yep. I thought the exact same thing.
He looked like he had Boom Howard sunglasses, but he was Bobby. Like he
got killed, like murdered.
Remember when he's like one last. I'm proud to serve this country one last time.
Oh, the
Bobby.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that guy?
Roland.
Yeah, there it is.
I thought he looked just like Bobby.
Awesome. I love that guy.
Yeah.
The fact that he got out of Omni-Man's way twice during that scene.
That he rolled.
Awesome. And then and then he's like, "I'm glad to serve this country."
So wait. All right. So what's funny is that was from the first episode. Remember, like the security guard was like, "Oh, that the fact that they're trying to teach us how to roll out of like a superhero way," and then he did it. Yeah. So that was cool. And then did you guys notice
a superhero?
Dude, Carl Winslow was in this show as the principal.
Principal.
Yeah.
Winslow?
Yeah, from Family Matters.
Family Matters.
He was
the principal of the school. It was like one scene. Yeah, one scene that he was in there.
Oh, when he's just late.
Yeah, and it's Principal Winslow too. So like,
oh shit, I didn't register that.
Yeah. I knew his voice. I knew his voice, and I'm like, it can't be him. And on Amazon, it shows like cast and whatever for voices.
Yeah,
and it's Carl Winslow. I was like, what?
He's like older now, and
like a while.
He's obviously very older now, and he has like dentures, so his voice kind of sounds like a little different than it used to. It's kind of like Danny Glover. Have you seen Danny Glover with with dentures. He sounds like completely different.
Yeah.
He does not sound like Danny Glover anymore. It's weird.
Yeah, funny.
Yeah, but
yeah. Anyway,
the
let's wrap
voice,
this thing
the
up.
voice acting, by the way, is really good. But
Really good.
Yep. Okay. Well, you should watch.
Well, first off, if you didn't already, you should watch our review episode of it because this is more like the discussion of it. But you should watch the review episode where we give it our opinions on the rating. It's spoiler free, so if you want to share that with your friends, to convince them to watch Invincible, right? But yeah, so like definitely share that. And then if you just want to ruin somebody's weekend who hasn't seen it, you should share this and be like, it's totally spoiler free. Just skip past the first 5 seconds, you know. So definitely, don't share this if they haven't seen it. Don't be that guy.
Yeah, but it's been a while. I mean,
not really. It's what is it, a couple months?
I saw it twice already. I've been through it twice.
Saw it twice if
I
I didn't fall asleep.
in 3 days. That doesn't mean anything.
Soldier yet?
8-part episode with 45-minute episodes. I could see people taking a minute to get through it.
Did you see Falcon and the Winter Soldier yet?
No, that's the one we're gonna probably do this week.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we wouldn't talk about that in this episode anyways. We'd have to like have a whole other spoiler warning.
No, yeah.
So
no, that would be a whole different thing. Yep.
You see your little logo Buttercat. You can get a latte mug and a couple other things.
That one.
Yeah, that and there's stickers, which
wait.
Wait, line them up. You gotta get the Buttercat corner, the Buttercat latte, the Buttercat sticker.
There you go.
So much Buttercat. Buttercat stickers upside down though.
I can't see it. Damn it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah, you should go to the indie store, and if you don't know what the indie store is, we can show you.
Oh, hi, Ed. I didn't see you there. How embarrassing. Oh, this? You like this? Well, yeah, that's just a Breakfast Talk, merch design that I made, for our podcast, Breakfast Talk. No big deal, Oh, what? You want one? Oh, well, I mean, I can show you where to get it. Alright, so we're going to head over to SierraNovaComics.com, and then we're going to look at the featured comics section. You guys can catch up on all the Breakfast Talk and Breakfast Bulletins, as well as the other podcasts that is sponsored by Sierra Nova Comics. And then we're going to head over to the indie store, which is where we get all the merchandise. And then pop over and grab an awesome shirt designed by my buddy Martin. It's a really, really cool design. Or head down here, and let's join the indie revolution. Check out that awesome design. Or you can get yourself a Gravedigger sticker from the Chronicles of Horror collaborative indie project hosted by the Sierra Nova Comics platform. Treat yourself and get yourself a Triple Threat Comics mug. Or head over and get yourself an Ice Pick Ultra Sweet Ultra Cotton Tea. Yeah, so you divide the 2 and carry the exponent. Are you still here? What are you doing? Go! Get indie merchandise. Go pick up a Breakfast Talk mug. I'll see you on Breakfast Talk.